Imagine being stuck in a Hogwarts-style magical academy where everybody can fire nukes out of a stick, but you, the main character, can't even cast a single light bulb spell to read at night. Meet Will Serfort. In a world where your magic power decides whether you're a king or a total peasant, Will has literally zero mana. But instead of crying in a corner, our boy did what any sane anime protagonist would do. He hit the gym, mastered the blade, and decided to flex physical stats so high he makes magical prodigies look like wet paper towels. Why is he suffering through this toxic wizard supremacist school? Simple. He made a promise to his childhood sweetheart, Elfaria, the badass ice princess who climbed to the absolute top of the magic world and is currently waiting for him at the top of the mysterious Mercedes Callis Tower. So if Will wants to get his waifu back, he needs to earn enough academic credits to reach the top. But since he can't cast spells, his only option is to dive into the monster-infested dungeon, slay terrifying monstrosities, and turn in their loot. Today, we're recapping the entire action-packed Season 1 of Wistoria Wand and Sword. Smash that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, grab your popcorn, and let's dive right in. We kick off with Will grinding in the low-level dungeon floors. Since he receives straight zeros in spellcasting written exams, he has to make up for it in practical monster hunting. Luckily, while everyone else relies on long incantations, Will just relies on raw, uncut physical violence. Back at the academy, we meet best girl Colette Luer. She's a sweet earth mage who is head over heels in love with Will. She constantly tries to protect him from the school bullies, but Will is so dense he thinks she's just being a good classmate. Classic anime protagonist is it. Enter Scion Ulster, a noble fire mage with a giant ego and a total hard-on on hating Will. Scion can't accept that a magicless trash like Will keeps surviving the dungeon, so he constantly looks for ways to humiliate him. During a practical exam, Scion tries to sabotage Will by cornering him near a high-ranking monster, but things go south real quick when a terrifying rogue devourer monster shows up. This thing eats magic for breakfast and wipes out normal mages. Scion literally freezes in terror. Does Will abandon his hater? Nope. Chad Will leaps straight into action. Using his insane speed, reflexes, and monster lore knowledge, Will deflects the monster's attacks, finds its weakness, and slices it to pieces right in front of Scion's traumatized eyes. Instead of saying thank you, Scion develops a massive identity crisis. Being saved by a guy without magic shattered his whole worldview. Meanwhile, the teachers aren't making Will's life any easier. Professor Edward, a harsh dark mage master, thinks Will doesn't belong in the school. He gives Will an ultimatum: pass a special practical test or get expelled. Edward throws heavy dark spells at Will, but Will dodges, parries magic beams with his heavy sword, and gets right up at Edward's face. Though Will technically loses the magic portion of the test, his ridiculous combat prowess leaves Edward silently stunned. Will earns just enough points to stay in the academy. The climb continues. Next up, it's time for the Grand Magic Festival, the biggest event of the year where top students compete, and the Magia Vander watched from above. Up in the VIP booth, Ice Queen Elfaria is watching closely, hoping to catch a glimpse of her boy Will. The main event is a massive battle royal obstacle course where teams must capture magical crowns placed atop giant pillars. Everyone expects the blue-blooded elites to crush it. The favorite to win is Julius Reinberg, an arrogant ice magic prodigy who uses a legendary spell called Ars Weiss to create multiple ice clones of himself. Julius treats everyone like bugs, including Will. Realizing he can't compete in aerial mobility, Will does the unthinkable. He forms a temporary team with his #1 hater, Scion, along with best girl Colette. Scion is furious about working with Will, but Will promises to launch Scion into the air so Scion can unleash his big fire spell. The game turns into pure chaos. Will literally acts like a human catapult, but Julius pulls a sneaky play, tricking everyone with his ice clones and snagging the high-value crown. Julius starts mocking Will, calling him a pathetic parasite who doesn't belong near Elfaria. Big mistake, buddy. Will enters absolute Chad mode. He analyzes Julius's movement patterns, realizes how the ice clones pass spells between each other, and charges in. Julius throws barrage after barrage of ice spikes, but Will literally cuts through the magic spells with raw sword strikes. He shatters the ice clones one by one in a mind-blowing display of animation.
Will slams into Julius, breaking his ice armor and proving to the entire stadium that a single sword can shatter elite wizardry. Although team rivalries prevent Will's team from securing the absolute overall victory, Will steals the entire show. Up in the tower, Elfaria is smiling like a proud wife while the other supreme mages begin to realize this magicless boy is an absolute menace. Following the festival, the Academy launches the all-student Dungeon Praxis, a high-stakes expedition into the deeper, far more dangerous floors of the dungeon. Because of his insane performance, Will is recruited into an elite squad led by Liana Owenkaus, a hyper-competent lightning mage who values actual results over magic elitism. The squad also includes the ice prodigy Julius, the elven archer Wignall, and later joins up with Scion and Colette. Initially, Wignall, the elf, is a total snob. Elves in this universe are super arrogant about their magic heritage. Wignall thinks Will drag the team down, but as they descend past floor 8, heavy monster ambushes strike. When a swarm of deadly monsters catches Wignall off guard, Will jumps in front, parrying claws and saving Wignall's life without hesitation. Wignall realizes his elven pride was completely blinding him. Will doesn't care about bloodlines, he just protects his comrades. However, this isn't a normal dungeon run. Deep in the shadows, a mysterious evil faction led by masked invaders named Mars and Headless are sabotaging the dungeon mechanics. They are manipulating monster spawns and setting up a trap to slaughter the Academy's top talents. Suddenly, the dungeon environment warps. The path back to the upper floors is completely sealed off by abnormal rock formations. The squad finds themselves trapped on the 10th and 11th floors, face to face with a nightmare they were never supposed to encounter. Enter the evil Grand Duke, this horrific, high-tier boss monster that shouldn't exist on these floors. This giant gothic horror monster radiates overwhelming dark mana. Liana fires lightning, Julius casts high-tier ice spells, and Wignall shoots wind arrows, but the evil Grand Duke has a spell barrier buffed by the villains hiding nearby. Every spell just bounces right off. The monster counters with massive area of effect destruction. Julius's confidence completely breaks. The mages are running out of mana, panicking, and facing total annihilation. That's when Will steps up as the true MVP. He remembers how Julius used Ars Weiss during the festival to extend spell incantations across ice clones. Will quickly formulates a genius strategy. He tells Julius to use his ice clones to hold the incantation, allowing Julius to cast his ultimate freezing magic without being interrupted. It works. Julius freezes the Grand Duke in place. Liana leaps in for the kill shot, but the villainous barrier blocks her attack. The Grand Duke breaks free and fires a lethal counterstrike right at Liana. Will dives in, pushing Liana out of danger but taking the brunt of the blow. In the process, the special magical goggles given to him by Elfaria are smashed into pieces. Losing the one token linking him to Elfaria completely breaks Will's spirit. He hits a massive state of despair, frozen in shock as the Grand Duke looms over them. Seeing Will give up pisses off Scion so much that Scion walks over and literally slugs Will right across the jaw. Scion screams at him, "I didn't get humiliated by you just to watch you die here. Stand up, you idiot." That punch snaps Will right back to reality. He looks at his comrades who are relying on him. It's time to unlock the true secret of Wistoria. It turns out Will's inability to use normal magic isn't a defect, it's a completely unique power known as Wiss. While normal mages cast spells through wands, Will's body absorbs, stores, and channels magical energy directly through his sword and physical memories. Will calls out to Scion. Instead of fighting against magic, Will tells Scion to pump his fire magic directly into his sword. Scion trusts him, firing a torrent of flame. Will absorbs the spell into his blade, awakening the legendary technique Spell Prime. Now, wielding a sword wrapped in ultimate fiery magic, Will charges the evil Grand Duke at godlike speed. The monster unleashes dark beams, but Will slices right through them. Liana, Wignall, Colette, and Julius provide full magical cover support. For the first time, wands and swords are fighting as one complete unit. The squad survives. Julius, Wignall, and Scion fully accept Will not as a magicless underdog, but as their undisputed leader and brother-in-arms. News of the battle reaches the top of the tower. Zeo Thorsius, the wild lightning Magia Vander, and the other supreme mages take notice. Elfaria looks down at the Academy with tears of pride. Will Serfort has officially proven that a sword can stand beside a wand. And that brings Season 1 of Wistoria, Wand and Sword to an end. Will went from being the most mocked kid in school to a legendary threat who united the strongest students in his year. But with dark forces lurking in the dungeon and the supreme mages watching his every move, his journey up the tower is just getting started. What was your favorite moment from Season 1? Did you love Will's hype fight scenes, or are you just here for Best Girl Colette? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another anime breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.